Good afternoon. Today's lecture is devoted to the role of technology in modern pedagogical practice. In contemporary education, technology can no longer be regarded as an auxiliary addition to traditional teaching. It has become one of the factors that shape the organization of learning, the accessibility of educational content, and the forms of interaction between teacher and student. For that reason, the pedagogical significance of technology must be examined not in purely technical terms, but in relation to its influence on teaching quality, student participation, and educational outcomes. The introductory position of this lecture is clear. Technology has become an essential component of modern education. Its influence extends beyond the simple use of devices. It changes how lessons are structured, how information is presented, and how students engage with knowledge. From online platforms to interactive tools, technology contributes to the transformation of the classroom into a more dynamic educational environment. This transformation, however, requires pedagogical analysis, since every technological possibility must be evaluated in terms of its educational value. Educational technology may be defined as the use of digital tools, platforms, and instructional methods in the learning process. The slide identifies three dimensions of this concept: devices such as computers and tablets, platforms such as Google Classroom and Moodle, and methods including interactive and digital teaching strategies. Its importance lies in the fact that technology is not limited to equipment alone. It is a system that influences both the quality of teaching and the level of student achievement. Thus, educational technology should be understood as a pedagogical resource, rather than as a collection of instruments. This slide draws attention to the historical shift from a model in which books and lectures dominated learning to a contemporary environment shaped by the internet, multimedia, and artificial intelligence. The comparison is significant because it illustrates that technology has not merely accelerated access to information, it has also altered the very way in which students encounter and process knowledge. The teacher, therefore, now works in an educational context where information is abundant, rapidly accessible, and presented in multiple formats. This changes both the opportunities and the responsibilities of pedagogy. The pedagogical importance of technology is presented here in three principal ways. First, it improves access to education by making learning materials available across time and place. Second, it supports different learning styles and contributes to more engaging instruction. Third, it strengthens collaboration and makes possible more systematic monitoring of student progress through digital tools and analytics. The significance of these functions lies in their combined effect. Technology does not simply deliver information more quickly, it expands participation, supports flexibility, and improves the teacher's ability to respond to student needs in a timely manner. A special contribution of digital technology lies in the strengthening of student engagement. The slide emphasizes that learning becomes more interactive when students are involved through videos, multimedia explanations, simulations, quizzes, and online exercises. This is educationally important because engagement is closely connected with attention, motivation, and retention. When difficult material is made more visible and participatory, students are better able to understand and remember it. Technology in this context supports not distraction but concentration through active involvement. Technology also alters the structure of educational communication. Video conferencing, messaging platforms, shared documents, and online group projects make it possible for teachers and students to remain in contact and to work together beyond the limits of the physical classroom. The pedagogical value of this development lies in continuity and cooperation. Communication becomes more immediate, and collaborative work becomes possible even across distance. This is especially significant where learning must remain collective, yet circumstances do not permit constant face-to-face interaction. One of the strongest arguments in favor of educational technology is the possibility of personalized learning. Students are able to work at an individual pace, revisit difficult topics, and receive feedback adapted to their specific needs. This changes the logic of instruction. Instead of treating the class as a uniform body, the teacher gains the opportunity to respond more precisely to variation in ability, speed, and learning style. Personalization, therefore, becomes not simply a convenience, but a means of improving educational outcomes through differentiated support. Learning management systems, such as Moodle and Google Classroom, provide a structured environment for organizing lessons, assignments, communication, and feedback. Their pedagogical strength lies in coherence. Materials, tasks, deadlines, and evaluation are brought into one accessible space. This contributes to better organization for both teachers and students. Teachers are able to monitor progress more systematically, while students gain easier access to resources and clearer awareness of expectations. In this sense, LMS platforms support both efficiency and responsibility in the educational process. Technology enables forms of online and distance education that make learning possible without physical presence in the classroom. The relevance of this capacity became especially evident in periods of global disruption, when continuity of instruction depended on digital access. Beyond emergency use, however, online learning also has broader educational significance. It creates flexibility for students with different schedules, those living in remote areas or those requiring alternative modes of access. Through virtual classrooms, video lessons, and online assessment, education becomes more geographically and temporally inclusive. The slide identifies 4 practical categories of digital tools: presentations, applications, quizzes, and virtual classrooms. Presentations support visual explanation through slides, images, charts, and video. Applications create more practical and interactive learning opportunities. Quizzes make possible immediate checking of knowledge and rapid feedback. Virtual classrooms provide an online space for live educational interaction. Taken together, these tools show that technology influences not one single aspect of teaching, but explanation, practice, feedback, and communication alike. The use of technology also presents serious challenges. The first is inequality of access. Not all students possess reliable devices or stable internet connection. The second is the issue of digital literacy, since effective participation requires appropriate training for both students and teachers. The third concerns distraction, as digital environments may reduce concentration through competing online stimuli. These challenges are pedagogically significant because they remind us that technology does not guarantee educational improvement by itself. Its success depends on access, preparation, and disciplined use. A particularly important point is made on this slide. Technology does not replace the teacher. It changes the teacher's role. The educator becomes less a sole transmitter of information and more a guide, facilitator, and organizer of learning. This shift has deep pedagogical consequences. The teacher now supports students in navigating information, exercising critical judgment, and using knowledge meaningfully. Under such conditions, teaching becomes more oriented toward guidance, interpretation, and the cultivation of independent learning. The future directions identified here include artificial intelligence, virtual reality, innovation, and deeper personalization. These developments suggest that education will become more immersive, more adaptive, and more responsive to individual learner profiles. Yet their importance lies not merely in novelty. The pedagogical question is how such technologies may be used to strengthen understanding, support meaningful feedback, and create learning experiences otherwise impossible in traditional formats. The future of educational technology will therefore depend on pedagogical wisdom no less than on technical invention. The conclusion of the lecture is well-founded. Technology plays a crucial role in modern pedagogy because it enhances accessibility, supports flexibility, and makes learning more interactive and personalized. At the same time, its educational value depends entirely on the quality of its integration into teaching. Balanced use is therefore essential. Technology becomes beneficial not when it is present in large quantity, but when it is selected and applied in ways that genuinely strengthen learning, communication, and student development. Thank you for your attention. I hope this lecture has clarified the role of technology in modern pedagogical practice and the conditions under which its use becomes educationally effective.